Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Big Mouth Live. And you are very, very welcome. Q&A, ask me nerd questions, but there are a couple of great quotes from Zack Snyder. When we were setting up the politics of the invasion, that would probably been an opportunity to kind of do a deep dive with all the apocalyptans in there and their different relationships to Darkseid, and whether they're on the outs or ins with him, Zack Snyder. But here's an even better one. The truth is, I assume that it was going to get made. That was just the thing we were working on. It wasn't like there was a scenario where it didn't. A great script. Ben wants to do it. He has a great bad guy. And why are we talking about this? Why aren't cameras rolling? Now, they're both quotes from Zack Snyder. Now, they're very interesting quotes, of course. So basically, he's saying that Ben Affleck still wants to do his Batman movie. Now, what I don't know is, are these old quotes or new quotes? In terms of the deep dive in the Justice League sequels, then obviously that would be something he would do if he was able to do those Justice League sequels. But in terms of Ben Affleck, he claims that Ben Affleck still wants to make his Batman movie. So let's take that as read. What is Ben Affleck's relationship with Warner Brothers? Well, very good, actually. Very good. I've been led to believe that they're very happy with Ben. They're happy to work with him again. He's happy to work with them. And they went over to him and asked him to return for Flashpoint. So it's not necessarily a thing that this is Ben's final appearance as Batman. He could get more. This is the multiverse strategy after all, right? So I think there's still a possibility there that Ben could actually do his Batman movie. It all depends what happens after The Flash, and nobody really knows. Everyone's assuming that it's his last appearance, but Ben actually hasn't said that. The studio hasn't said that, and Andy and Barbara haven't said that either. So that's very, very interesting to me, and we're going to have to wait to see the film to see what Ben Affleck's future or non-future within the DCEU is. But I wouldn't take it as read that it's over. And I wouldn't take it as read that Henry Cavill's role in the DCEU is over either. That's just my opinion. So that's interesting from Zack Snyder. I still think there's a chance. As I say, Ben and Warner Brothers have got a good working relationship. He's still developing projects with them, non-DCEU related, of course, but we don't know what happens to him after Flash. And as I say, it will be a very brave person to say that Ben's going to be finished after Flash. That's just something that we do not know. So that's where I am with that, because, as I say, the relationships there, they get on. There's no problem between Ben and the studio. Of course, Ben had issues like everyone did during the Justice League reshoots. But that's history now. And that's something people are going to have to accept, that it is history. And, you know, we are moving on. Some of us are moving on. Some of us are stuck in the past. And, you know, watch this space. He did rewrite his segment of Flashpoint as well. That's interesting that they allowed him to do that. And as I say, I don't know how big his role in Flash is or how small it is. We know he's in the opening segment, and we don't know how many DCEU characters. We know multiple DC characters from multiple timelines will be in that film, but we don't know what Ben's role exactly is in the movie. We don't know what happens when the DCEU is going to be rebooted by Barry Allen, his very self. So, yes, I thought I'd read that to you because I think it's very, very interesting. And we're going to have to wait and see to see what happens. But, yeah, there's still hope for Ben Affleck and his Batman because, you know, we got 2 Batmen at least in Flash. Could be more. There's going to be other DC characters as well. I think new characters will be introduced as well for the future of the DCEU. So if you're a fan of Batfleck, then, yeah, don't lose hope just yet. I think that there could be things going on and not necessarily that he's out. So that's my stance on that. Very little going on in the entertainment industry right now. So there's nothing new for us to discuss. That's why I thought I'd do a Q&A. But we've only got one person in the chat right now, so we're going to have to wait and see. I will keep on blabbering on, and hopefully more people will come. You never know. People may have had enough of me, and maybe people won't come in. Maybe everyone hates me. I don't know. So I'm just going to keep on blabbing on. I was thinking about this the other day, about Army of the Dead. And I was thinking that's probably my least favourite Zack Snyder movie. There's nothing wrong with the film per se, but it didn't really make an impression on me like the DC films did. Obviously, they're DC films. He's a DC fan. He was more motivated with that. Obviously, he was motivated for Army of the Dead. He's creating a franchise, and he said now he's going to do another 2 Army of the Dead movies. There's prequels to come as well. So, there's 4, 5, 6 projects. Obviously, there's an anime prequel as well as a live action one with the Safecracker as well. But yeah, it didn't really. I've only seen it once, and I don't think I'll be going back to it. It's just, maybe it's because I'm just not into zombies, and my interest wasn't that high. I was watching a few reviews, and I think kind of my view on it is a similar view all round. Really, where people weren't, and I don't think it's a terrible movie. They just don't think it's a classic Snyder film. Now, people are very kind of different with Snyder, but I think if you rank the Snyder films, I think Army of the Dead would probably, for me, rank lower than the other films. I think that Watchmen would be high up, 300 would be high up. I've never seen Dawn of the Dead. And obviously, MOS, BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League, they would be pretty high up in the list. But Army of the Dead, for me, would be lower in the Zack Snyder rankings. We've got another couple of people in. We're doing a Q&A tonight, so please ask me nerd questions. I've read a couple of quotes. One about Ben Affleck still wanting to do his Batman, and Zack Snyder saying, cameras should be rolling on this. And as I've already said, Warner Brothers and Ben Affleck have got a good relationship, so don't lose hope. And it's not necessarily a thing where Ben Affleck's Batman is done after the Flash movie either. So that's what we've been talking about. But please don't be shy. I won't bite unless you want me to. Ask me some questions, and I will try the best of my ability to answer your questions. They can be about entertainment. I'm a Manchester United fan. You can ask me questions about Manchester United. Just don't ask me about squad numbers and every single player, because I'm not that much of a football expert, but I do love Manchester United, and I do have definite opinions on that as well. So pretty much ask me what you want to ask me within reason, of course, and we can get that, and we can get a discussion going. Don't be shy. And so we've been talking about that. I've just been talking about Army of the Dead. I do think the Snyder Cut is one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen. It's unique. It's beautiful looking. It does a great thing. I don't feel you can do an effective Superman Rebirth story within a Justice League movie. I think that's my issue with that. But as a film and all these characters together, it's a brilliant film. It really is. And it's got time to breathe. It's amazing. Interestingly enough, moving away from Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, I've noticed on Twitter a lot of Snyder kind of fans are getting a bit pissed off with Ray Fisher now, and that's interesting. They're seeing through him, as I did quite a while back. So that's an interesting one as well. Ray Fisher is not the popular figure within the Snyderverse community that he was. And yeah, as I say, very interesting to me. I think they can see that he has a higher agenda than restoring the Snyderverse. People can see he's become very, very political. And obviously, I think it's like what Ronnie Dodgem says, one of the guys who comes in here. He says we were all supporting him, but once he went after Walter Hamada, it left a bitter taste in the mouth. And as soon as I saw him do that, I couldn't support him any longer. Because I don't get it. Surely he understands he wants to keep his job. Surely he understands that the company told him to say what he said to him. So to go directly, after Walter was an interesting kind of tactic for me. And I think Snyder fans are now starting to see through Ray Fisher. Jeff Hill, hey BM, good evening, Jeff Hill. How are you doing? We're doing a Q&A. Ask me anything. I've been talking about Ben Affleck's The Batman and Zack Snyder saying that he really wanted to take a deep dive into the political kind of situation, over at Apocalypse, and then we were going to get another kind of look at that as well. But yeah, Zach believes that Ben Affleck still wants to make his Batman movie. And as I've already said, he has got a great relationship with WB, so anything's still possible. There could still be a future for Batfleck after The Flash. So yeah, as I say, ask me anything. I'm here to answer your questions for about an hour and 10 minutes, so take advantage of it. Ask me some questions. I mean, you can ask me questions about the state of the entertainment industry. Do we think that film is in the best condition it's ever been? I don't think it is. I think we've got very mediocre and ordinary films. I think the dominance of the superhero genre is an absolute tragedy, and I'm wearing this top and I love superhero films, but they shouldn't be the only thing they're making. And it's a big shame. I grew up in an era where you could walk into these shops and buy VHS and DVD of amazing films. And I just went in there and discovered films, films like No Way Out, starring Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman. These were films that were so sensational and original. There's no originality now. Creatively, they're bankrupt, they're lazy. And that's how I feel about the state. Obviously, the kind of alt-left commentary in films now as well. And I said this on TikTok, I'm predominantly left-wing, and I don't really want to bring my politics in here, and I wouldn't do that to you guys. But I do feel it's a shame that right-wing commentary isn't allowed in entertainment, because I like a balance. So I'm not talking about far right, but the far left seem to be able to make their commentary, but the moderate right can't. Now, personally, I'd rather there be no political commentary in our films. But there's a bit of a kind of unbalance in it. But in terms of quality, I don't think in the 70s, I'll go to the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s and 90s and early noughties. I don't think a film like Justice League would be allowed to be released, or Birds of Prey, or even Wonder Woman 84. These films were not in the visual quality or the narrative quality of films from famous studios like Warner Brothers, right? We saw what happened with Sonic. If the public didn't argue about the state of the CG of Sonic, they would have put that shit out there. That's amazing to me. Amazing. These people are not as talented as the cool kids think they are. I don't think the talent, I think if you compare the creatives today to the creatives of yesterday, they're just not there. I mean, I can reel you off. Who's anywhere near Quentin Tarantino? An original one fucking off of a movie guy who really makes these unique films. And of course, they can be very violent. And of course, he's faced questions and he tells people to fuck off when they ask him those questions, because he's Quentin Tarantino. But even if we look at Chris Carter, who created the X-Files, if we go to television, we have got this great kind of technology now of streaming. Is there anything as original or as awesome as the X-Files or Fringe or Lost or 24 on your streaming services? How many of you go on Netflix or Prime and try and find something and you can't find something? The streaming originals are shit or mediocre at best. I mean, you look at the TV shows we grew up with. I mean, even things like Knight Rider and the A-Team, I mean, there wasn't a deep narrative there, but they were entertaining. Things like Dallas and Dynasty, they were entertaining. So even the streaming services now are rebooting stuff. And so you are in a situation where you're kind of depressed because there's nothing really there where you can say, oh, this is, there are some good things there. I don't want you to misunderstand me. But mostly they're mediocre. You got something like 13 Reasons Why, which was really good for the first series, but then they dragged it out. I'm going to have to put the aircon on because it's very, very hot here. So we're going to have to cool down. So I look at entertainment today and I don't see it. As I say, you know, it's cape after cape after cape, and I love those films. But at the end of the day, when you get situations like Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84, you kind of scratch your head and say, no way 40, 50 years ago would these films even be allowed to be released? And, you know, there's an amateur basis to the people putting out products today. And if you question them, they don't like it. And that's the problem. We've got social media now. We have a right to reply. They don't like it. You know, they want their butts kissed. How many times have you been blocked just by constructively criticizing a director? Not being rude, not swearing, not being threatening, not being racist or anything like that, just being constructive. Creatives today can't handle criticism. And, you know, and there is a disease in the entertainment industry right now, and it is mediocrity. And I see it all the time. I remember when we went into the 2000s, and I'll name drop these again. Smallville, 24, Alias, Lost, Prison Break. There are not shows of that quality on streaming right now. And streaming's an amazing technology, but they're thinking about everything now apart from the entertainment value. And I think that's a serious problem, because you have got a superior era of entertainment to compare this shit to. And a lot of it is shit. We went with Game of Thrones, like, for all those seasons, and it was one of the best things ever made. I mean, is there anyone better than HBO to produce stuff? Of course not. So, but then Bainoff and Weiss were kind of focused on Star Wars. They were rushing through it. And unfortunately, it didn't work. I'm not saying, I mean, look, they fucking had what, a coffee cup on the set? I mean, that's not a big deal, but this is how amateur the production became. Even the actors, I mean, Emilia Clarke's great quality, by the way. I love her. She's always giggling. I remember they were asking her about what happens to her character, and she was just giggling because she knew. She knew it. The actors know when something's shit. You can't blame the actors. They're literally a commodity. People focus on actors too much. Actors just say what they're told to say by the people who employ them. I mean, with certain exceptions, of course. So even the politics they're pushing publicly on social media, they're told to do that on their by their bosses at the studios as well. So there is a problem in entertainment today, and you know, they're dissolving the industry with what they're doing, with their political narratives, with the mediocrity they put out there. You know, when I first heard Birds of Prey was greenlit, I was very excited. I had a feel-good kind of, you know, opinion of Margot Robbie's Harley. I thought she was one of the best things of David Ayer's Suicide Squad, along with Will Smith and certain others. And I thought, we're going to get a really good film here. And it's somewhat disappointing that she used that and her production company to forward a narrative there was no need to forward, right? Now, Margot's been burnt since she's come to Hollywood. There's no question she's been used as a sexual object. No one can deny that. There's so many films where she's got her kit off. In the Tarantino film she was in, she barely says 2 words. I understand her frustration, but because of what she went through, it's not fair to start labeling all men as toxic or all men take credit for women's work like she did in Birds of Prey. There was no entertainment value in that, and it ruined it. And whether you like it or not, Hollywood, your predominant audience is male, right? We're the ones who make you money. And you're kind of making us your enemy for no good reason. So look at what happened with Captain Marvel. You know, Brie was sounding off politically about straight white men. And I mean, there was really no need. The film wasn't that bad. I kind of thought the movie was okay. But yeah, it's somewhat disappointing. And in the end, you've just got to make a decision. Like I said with what Neil Gaiman was saying the other day, you either embrace their shit or you don't. Don't debate with them. Don't tell them what they're doing is wrong. They love it. If they cast God as a person of colour and you start complaining, they love it. This is what they want. They want to prove that we are racist, that we're bigots. Don't give them what they want. Just boycott their stuff. Don't watch their shit. That's the best way. That's how you hurt them, right? Look what happened with Charlie's Angels. And then Elizabeth Banks had the fucking cheek to blame men for not going to see that film. Your film was rubbish, sweetheart. Why are you directing movies? What qualifies you to direct movies? I mean, you got dirt on someone, clearly. You know? So it's pretty ridiculous. You can't blame the public for not embracing your films. You know, she blamed men for not going to see it, right? She's trying to say that we didn't go to see it because it starred a bunch of women, but we did go and see the other kind of Charlie's Angels franchise because it was entertaining and far superior. So what do you say about that, Lizzie dear? You know, so their narrative can be exposed very, very easily. There's one presenter on Twitter right now, you know, quote tweeting someone talking about wokeness, and this guy's going, it's great to be woke. But the truth is, the broadcasting and entertainment industry are not actually woke. They pretend to be woke. They employ on DNA, and it's fake representation, and it's fake inclusion, and none of it's actually real. They predetermined who they're going to cast, and they make sure they have the same DNA as the rest of the industry do. It's easy to see through these narratives, and as I say, they're dissolving their own industry. And, you know, that's pretty sad. It's sad for me because I grew up, you know, embracing films and TV dramas when the thing was entertainment. Of course, 30, 40 years ago, not enough minorities were represented. And I understand that, but you can represent people and make things fun and also at the same time. And you don't have to keep on boring on about it in the marketing. We can see the representation. But it's not enough for us to see it. They have to gob off about it, right? They say people should see themselves on the screen. Christopher Reeve's Superman wasn't eating a doner kebab when he was flying through the fucking air, but I related to him, right? So it's not actually important to see yourself on the screen. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, that it's not important at all. When I went to see The Accused, when Jodie Foster was playing a rape victim, I didn't see myself, but I related to her. I related to what she went through. And as a man, that taught me something about what women go through. A lot of the young men watching it had a very bad attitude while watching them, a toxic attitude. But when I watched it, and I'm not saying I'm unique or anything, I felt for her, you know. So a lot of people have learned so much through people doing things, but without people going on about it, you know, publicly. We can see the film. We can see what the film's attempting to do. We can see what your casting is attempting to do. You don't have to bore on about it and, you know, trigger people all the time. Maybe they don't care if their industry goes bankrupt. Ronnie Dodge. Hey, mate. Good evening, Ronnie. Welcome to the party. It's a Q&A tonight, so ask me anything. I've read out 2 quotes from Zack Snyder. One about what he wanted to do with his sequels. He wanted to delve in and take a deep dive into the politics of apocalypse and how people, if they would embrace Darkseid or not. Also, he said that Ben Affleck still wants to make his Batman film. And I do know that Ben Affleck has a great relationship with WB. And there's no guarantee that Ben Affleck's Batman will be dissolved or killed or deleted in Flashpoint either. He could continue. So that's interesting as well. And we've been talking about different subjects. I've been talking about the state of the entertainment industry, how I can't believe with something like streaming, we haven't got better content. I've been talking about the SJW kind of element of entertainment today as well, and how there's no political balance in commentary. The left can talk, but the right can't. And by the way, as I've already said, my politics is left, but I would like a balance, but a two-sided conversation. If you're going to make political commentary, I'd rather there's no political commentary. But if you're going to go that way, both sides have to get a say. And that's the problem with Hollywood. COS, watch my video now. I'm busy. I mean, that's not really how you get someone to embrace you, is it? Watch my video now. Say, right, if you get time, watch my video, please. You don't say, watch my video now. So that's what we've been discussing tonight. And it's a Q&A, so ask me anything. I mean, how can someone go and watch someone's video while they're doing a live stream, right? I don't get it. Just weird, right? Do I go on people's stream and say, watch my stuff? No, I put it out there and people watch it, they watch it. So, and that's the end of it. People are just odd, aren't they? People are really, really odd. There's no, you know what the problem with social media is? People just don't have any social skills or any etiquette anymore. And it really does wind me up. People think because they're hiding behind a banner, they can do and say whatever they want. We're not here, you can't. Ronnie Dodge, out of all the movies coming next year, DC-wise, apart from the Batman, what are you excited for? Out of all the movies coming next year, DC-wise, apart from the Batman, what are you excited for? Well, you obviously know that I'm excited for The Flash, but I'm very, very intrigued about Black Adam. I think that's a film we don't know much about. We know the Justice Society of America will be in it, but I'm fascinated to see if The Rock can pull this off. It's his production company. It's his ex-wife's people involved. Obviously, Walter will be an executive producer, but I think there's a lot of, they've already said, you know, The Rock and his people have got creative freedom. So that's going to be interesting. And The Rock actually does know a lot about DC. He's a big, big DC fan. He is a DC fan. There's no question about that. So I'm very interested because if he can pull this off, that would be someone. Well, I think Mikey Sutton was saying that he could be our Kevin Feige, which is nuts. Ronnie Dodge, apart from Batman and Flash, I'm definitely excited for Black Adam. Yeah, because I'm intrigued by it. I mean, Dr. Fate is one of my favorite characters. The Justice Society, Hawkman, what's not to be excited about? So I'm very interested in that film. Ronnie Dodge, I love that he slaughters the MCU actors about DC. Yeah, he's a very big DC fan. He doesn't mess about. He's been fighting to be part of DC for years. And he won his fight ultimately. And I think they wanted him to be in the Suicide Squad as Black Adam. They wanted him to be in Shazam. And he said, listen, no, I want to do my own movie. And I like that. I like that. And I like that they're listening to him. That's really good. So, you know, we know The Rock. He's a very powerful guy in the entertainment industry. He's also a gentleman. But yeah, he loves DC. And I'm really hoping that he's managed to be able to persuade them to allow Henry Cavill to be involved in Black Adam as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to seeing the theatrical finished version of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. That's going to be a very interesting movie. Ronnie Dodge, I think he will be in the post-credit scene in Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I actually think he's got a big role in Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I think We've seen the animated Shazam before. We've seen how much Clark helps Billy Batson and how much he relies on him as an advisor and as kind of a father figure. And I think that's the kind of thing we could see. And there was a big rumor a few months ago about Henry being involved. And, you know, David F. Sandberg said, listen, after what happened last time, I don't want to put any bad luck on it. So let's see what happens. So, but I think by Sandberg saying that, I'm very positive. And as I say, I think he could have quite a sizable role in Shazam Fury of the Gods. I could be wrong, of course. You could be right. It could be a post-credit scene. But I feel that if he's going to play a big role in any of these 5 DCEU movies coming out, I think Shazam would be the place, and maybe even Black Adam. I did have a theory about Black Adam when it was first announced about a year or so ago. I had a theory that we might get a Justice Society of America version of Superman, which would be interesting, which would be not a Henry Cavill version. But back then, we didn't know what was going on with Henry. By the way, we still don't know what's going on with Henry. But I certainly expect him to play a big part in Fury of the Gods because I just think it's perfect. It's perfect for him. He's already, he's already been introduced to these characters at the end of the film. I know it's just a body double, but he's now kind of friendly with them. He knows them. He's going to be in and out of their lives. That's obvious. So I think that makes sense for him to have a big role in Fury of the Gods. And of course, no one will be happier than me if that's the case. So all we can do is cross our fingers, but that's the more realistic place we could see Henry. But wherever we see him, whether it's in all 5 of these films, and we're not 5 because he won't be in the Batman, but all 4 of these upcoming DCEU films, or just 1 or 2 of them, it'll be very exciting. Ronnie Dodge, because the gods are involved in the movie, I would imagine Diana would have a role. It's interesting. I don't expect to see her. I mean, if we did see her and Superman in Fury of the Gods, it would be fantastic. And you're right, because there's gods involved, you could imagine that would be great for her to be in it. Gal's kind of busy. I don't know how she feels about cameos as well, but she's under contract, so she would have to be in them. But I definitely think Cavill's more likely than Gadot. But yeah, definitely would be awesome if she was involved. And as you say, it makes sense. So we're going to have to see about that. So yeah. But definitely moving forward, you're going to see a lot more of these DCEU characters that Zack brought in cameoing in these other films. They won't be as standalone as they was before. The reason that Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84 was so standalone is because they didn't care what happened in those films because they were planning the multiverse strategy. So those films, in a way, are irrelevant. Ronnie Dodge, I would love Diana and Darla interaction. Oh, that would be adorable, wouldn't it? I loved Darla in the first film. So, yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? And there was a great moment in the Snyder Cut when that girl goes, I hope I can be like you. And she goes, you can be anything you want to be. You know, Zach did a great thing there, and it was amazing. Jeff Hill, BM, do you think people are overusing the term woke? Yes. I definitely think that. I don't like the word personally. I mean, I've started to use it because it's out there, and it's a term that people understand. Listen, I'm a very fair-minded person. I believe in representation and inclusion. I believe in equality. But what we're seeing in entertainment isn't equality. It's revenge. They're scrubbing out men, especially white men, and replacing them with minorities. That's not equality, right? I know they want to do to, white men what white men did to minorities by not involving them in the entertainment industry. But the best way moving forward is to have a fair and just society. And the conversations within the entertainment industry have become very, very toxic. And what they're doing is they're forcing men out of entertainment. People like us are not going to watch entertainment if they keep on doing this commentary, this hateful commentary about us. We're just going to watch the stuff we watched as kids, because what's the point? But absolutely, Jeff, they are overusing the term. And of course, we know there's some really, these people, and obviously you've got like the fandom menace that use woke a lot. But the fandom menace are just there to make money. They don't even believe in half of what they say. I mean, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is an interesting guy. I think he's really good at what he does, and I used to follow him. I still do. I follow him, but I don't like him as much as I used to because I had an argument with him from no fault of my own, and I can hold my hands up and say it. But he talks about that he voted for Obama, then he voted for Trump. What I don't understand, how'd you go from voting for Obama then being a Trump supporter? In other words, this guy is a leftist and he's pretending to be on the right because it makes him money. It's pretty obvious to me. So they overuse the word woke, as you've just asked me. And of course, it sets people ablaze and it gets interactions. But yeah, absolutely, it is overused and it's so annoying. And of course, when I hear people using the word woke, I see them as pie eaters, people with little intelligence. There's nothing wrong. Woke, actually, there's nothing wrong with being woke because woke is actually supposed to be fair-minded. It's supposed to be, about representation and equality. But people in the entertainment industry, Jeff, are not woke. They're pretending to be woke. That's the difference. And if you're smart enough to see through it, then you're winning. And a lot of people ain't smart enough to see. They actually, the commentary and everything they make, they don't even mean, when you've got Taika Waititi, kissing two women publicly, and then they talk about, toxic masculinity. Well, look, mate, look what you're doing. I mean, as I said this morning, good luck to you, Taiti. Good luck. I hope you had a nice threesome with them. I certainly would have gone there. I ain't got a problem with what he did, but the problem is they're hypocrites. I think we live in a very, very toxic culture, a very political culture. My dad used to say, don't talk religion and politics at the dinner table. Your politics and your religion are your business. You shouldn't be boring people about them. I've mentioned earlier on that I'm on the left side of the political structure and conversation, but I don't go on about my politics because it's boring. Politics don't actually interest me. I find politics boring. But it's not like you get proper conversations like we used to have anyway. Everyone's got a hot take, and it's not just about politics. Everyone wants to say something to become famous. Everyone wants to say something outrageous, don't they? It's like we had another idiot on Twitter today saying that Lois Lane kills Ursa in Superman 2 because she punches her, and says that Superman kills Zod. Jesus is a goat. Preach. Good evening, Jesus is a goat. A very welcome to my kingdom. So, some of the conversations on the internet don't interest me at all. I'm here to have a laugh. I'm here to talk about my geek. Ronnie Dodge, after The Flash, every movie should be connected. It will be. It will be. Even the other worlds, even the other Earth's movies will be connected, right? You see, I was kind of wondering if Matt Reeves would be, down for all that. But because he's doing so much, and he's definitely going to develop his own characters on Earth too, I think he's here to be part of the shared universe, even though he's on a different Earth. And I think that's very exciting. So, yes, it's a shared, this is what the consumer wants. This is why the MCU is making money hand over fist. People love crossovers, they love interaction, but they love earned crossovers. You can't have Batman and Superman meeting after one Superman film. That's not an earned crossover because people haven't got to know Batman first. Ronnie George, I think Rob could be in The Flash maybe. Maybe. That's a possibility. That would be another great surprise. I think that's a possibility for sure. And of course, that would excite a lot of people. So obviously the Batman is before the Flash movie. Now Gotham PD, I don't think will be out till, I don't know if it'll be out. I think it'll be out next year, obviously. Yes. So that may even kind of land before Flash as well. And I think Rob will be in Gotham PD. I think he will be part of that in the background. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting things happening with this month. Once I heard about this multiverse strategy, I was like, wow, finally, we're going to get a proper, interactive, connected kind of, and it's not that like Zach wasn't doing crossovers. He wanted Superman and Batman to be an Aquaman. So it wasn't like Zack didn't want to do this, but we're doing it properly now. And the only reason we had 2 standalone movies in Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84 is because they, as I say, they're rebooting the universe anyway. Do what you want. Do what damage you want, because your films won't mean shit by the time we're done anyway. So, you know, if you want to do Easter eggs for Quantum fucking Leap, Patty, do it. It isn't going to mean anything because we're rebooting the fucking universe. We're erasing every piece of shit you did in that film. Margot, we're erasing every piece of shit you did in Birds of Prey. You can bore on about men for, you know, for the whole of the 1 hour, 50 minutes or whatever the runtime of that film is. It doesn't matter. We're rebooting the universe. So those films were filler. Those films were the calm before the storm. So this is why they allowed those films. Ronnie Dodge, I feel like Wonder Woman 84 and Birds of Prey are just fillers until the multiverse kicks into gear. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're going to be rebooted. The whole universe is going to be rebooted. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much those movies suck, because thankfully we're rebooting the universe. And I mean, we've been told that everything will be remembered, but some things shouldn't be remembered. You can't moan about the Snyderverse when you've got shit on your books like Wonder Woman 84 and Birds of Prey. Because at least the Snyderverse is trying. It's trying to be epic. It's trying to be compelling. Birds of Prey isn't trying to be entertaining. And Wonder Woman 84, we're trying to be optimistic. You're lecturing us about being greedy. The most greedy fucking industry. Greedy fucking industry. Millionaires lecturing working class people about not being greedy. Patty Jenkins is probably a millionaire and she's lecturing me and the rest of the fans about not being greedy and using Maxwell Lord as Donald Trump. Get out of my franchise. Get the fuck out of my franchise. Take your shoes, go away, and don't come back. You're a fraud, Patty. You're a fraud. You tricked all of us. You tricked me as well. Zack ghost directed Wonder Woman 1. End of story. No way was she responsible for that film. No way. She didn't agree with half the stuff in that film. She even was saying that she didn't agree with the third act. So she kind of exposes herself there. Ronnie Dodge, I think people shouldn't be hating on The Flash because DJ is very excited for the movie. I think people should be able to feel any way they like. But at the end of the day, I was, as you know, me and you were excited anyway. But hearing one of the best VFX supervisors in the business saying, I was losing hope for the DCEU, and Andy and Barbara showed me this script. And I'm like, wow, I'm doing this. So that says everything. He's doing this because they promised him he can connect the Snyder Cut as well. COS, oh, the booth, Sonic the Hedgehog. I think we got a live one here. Ronnie Dodge, if they hate it, fair enough, but they get left behind. Yeah, at the end of the day, they probably watch it, like it, and still pretend they hate it. That's what they're doing. They have an agenda. As I say, all they're good for, some of these people, is spreading fake narratives, and it's boring. They're still going on about DJ saying that they didn't understand the Speed Force and they wanted to cut the Speed Force, blah, blah, blah. Get over it. Shut up. It's boring. Stop being boring. That's what I say. And Aquaman 2 is an interesting film. We really don't know much about Aquaman 2, do we? Ronnie Dodge, get all out on Twitter, but secretly they love the movies. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? It's interesting, though, because I think there is a divide in the Snyderverse fandom. That's why they couldn't get Suck It WB to trend, because we used to be able to get anything to trend. Now they can't. Nothing's really trended that high since the 1.5 million Restore the Snyderverse event, just after the Sarnoff hit piece. I mean, Anne Sarnoff is a wily player, so you're not going to intimidate Anne Sarnoff. She's here to do a job. She's here to turn this studio around. But as I was saying, we know very little about Aquaman 2. Jesus is a go. I wanted a trench movie so bad. My two favourite juniors merged. Do you know what? It would have been interesting. And I don't know. I understand, actually. I always wondered, how do you do it, though? How do you do a whole movie about the trench? It would have to be very, very short, for example, because how much? I mean, maybe you've got a few ideas, Jesus is a go, right? How do you do a trench movie? How do you actually do it and make it interesting for a full movie? Ronnie Dodge, and Anne did say in the article she doesn't tolerate bullying the studio or Walter Hamada. Exactly. Jeff Hill, Trench and New Gods are stupid. Glad they aren't doing it. No, New Gods would have been amazing. Trench didn't have much potential, to be honest. Would have been interesting visually. Jeff Hill, there's way better properties than the Trench and New Gods. Well, I think New Gods. I think New Gods is an awesome property, by the way, and I think someone else would have done a great job with it, but not Ava. Definitely not Ava. Ronnie Dodge, New Gods would be cool if they kept Ray Porter as Darkseid. Ray Porter was an excellent Darkseid, and there's no reason not to use him. They're using DJ. Why not? Why not Ray? Ray's a great guy. He's a very talented voice actor and a body actor, and his movements are great. Yeah, I agree. Listen, there's potential in a New Gods, and I think someone will do that one day. But Ava DuVernay was never appointed by Warner Bros. To do that film. It was just a pitch. She was writing scripts, and they were rejecting them. Ava DuVernay was never, ever green-lit to do a New Gods movie. There was never a date. It was never green-lit. She was just pitching. That's it. So it was never cancelled because it was never green-lit. And that's something people need to understand. Ronnie Dodge, at least Ray Porter is not problematic, unlike the other Ray. Yeah, he gives other Rays a bad rep. I mean, look, people still go on about Ray being sacked from Flash. He wasn't sacked. He said he'd never work for another production under Walter Hamada. Nobody sacked him. You said it yourself, mate. And then you're going around saying you were sacked. You weren't sacked. We have 9 people in the chat. We have 4 likes. Welcome to the chat. QNA. Take this advantage. Jesus is a go. Time to heat up some ramen noodles and put on the Joker movie. Peace out. See you later, dude. Yeah, the Joker movie, I haven't watched that for a while. You know what's good about the Joker movie? You don't have to watch other movies. You just watch that one. Ronnie Dodge, the only thing he sacked himself and then process of attacking reps at Warner Media. Exactly. Bobcat, hey Mickey, I was just thinking about you. Ronnie Dodge, Bobcat is here. I know. When Bobcat or Ronnie Dodge is not here, I feel a bit lost, I'm thinking, shit, can I do this? Jeff Hill, do you think it's a good idea to do a Joker 2, or it's better off being a one-off movie? I have no issue with it being a sequel, just because I think that there's potential in doing a sequel, but I don't necessarily think that they're doing a Joker sequel. I think they're doing the next villain origin movie, and I think they'll continue off what they set up with Joker. I think that's what they're going to do. I don't actually think this is a Joker sequel, but we will see, Jeff. Bobcat, hey, Ronnie Dodge, Ronnie Dodge. All right, boss. So no one really has any idea what Aquaman 2 is going to be like, really. So that's interesting. They go into production. They start filming in June, I think. So June or July, I think. This is the year where we get the formation of these movies, but we don't get to experience them apart from the Suicide Squad. So, and it looks like from A Quiet Place 2's box office that literally box office is back to pre-COVID kind of limits, and that's doing really well. That is good news for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and DC fans. Ronnie Dodge, Jason doing the story makes me nervous, but if James Wan is happy with it, I'm in. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think they would have allowed him to do anything that kind of curtails what they're doing. But obviously, if it goes wrong, they're going to, that element of him telling the story will, he'll get the blame. Bobcat, I just finished Cruella again. It's one of those movies I can put on and enjoy. It isn't super feminist either. It's just a sequence of events. And there are actually some twists, but I saw them coming. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. How much is it on Disney Plus for a laugh? I can't order it on Disney Plus because it's not my Disney Plus, but it's about 30 quid, isn't it? I mean, I'd never. Ronnie Dodge, I'm seeing Cruella in the cinema on Wednesday. I was about to say I would never go to the cinema and see Cruella. But I hope you enjoy it, Ronnie. No, the next time I go to the movie theatre will be for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Yeah, £30, $30 or whatever the fuck, right? For a film. No way would I do that. No way. Bobcat, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. What do you mean? It's basically the Joker movie for Cruella, isn't it? It's her origin story, isn't it? Come on, Fro, deal with it. Come on. Ronnie Dodge, I've got a membership for 15 quid a month. So if I go cinema and I see a movie and it's crap, I'm not wasting money. Fair enough. Bobcat, no, it's more Devil's Wear Prada. No. If I spelt that wrong, I can't spell low. That doesn't matter. I understand exactly what you said. I'm definitely not going to see it now. Not interested in that shit. Oh, yes, I'm going to see James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. That's the next film I'm going to see. And the next film I'm going to see after that is The Batman. Ronnie Dodge, it's either seeing that or Conjuring 3, but I'm not the biggest fan of horror. If I was going to go to the cinema, it would be for the Conjuring 3, and I'm not interested in horror that much either. Bobcat, her origin isn't really an origin. It's like Cruella was always there, which was weird. Yeah. Not for me. The reviews are basically saying, not the perfect film, the music and the fashion's good. That's it. It tells you everything, doesn't it? Bobcat, I'd pick Cruella. Personally, Bobcat, I wouldn't pick either. To be honest, I wouldn't go to the cinema to see either of those films. It's just, I don't want to make these people money for mediocrity. And at the end of the day, the real Cruella is in the animated classic. And she's superior to any live action version. Bobcat, I think there are elements that would be good on the big screen, but I don't like horror. I don't dislike horror, it just doesn't do anything for me. And it's like what Michael Rosenbaum always says, horror isn't even horror these days. Ronnie Dodge, after June, there's a lot of movies I want to see. I mean, we've got The Matrix 4, haven't we? What else we got? We've obviously got The Suicide Squad. We've obviously got Spider-Man No Way Home, which is very exciting. I mean, Jeff Hill, which movie do you like the most? Avengers 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Infinity War, or Endgame? Well, it would have to be between Zack Snyder's Justice League and Infinity War. Out of that list, they are the best superhero movies, comic book movies. That's an interesting one, isn't it? If I'm honest, I suppose I'm not. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I think Infinity War is the culmination of all these movies, of around 20 movies, and it works so well. I don't really like Endgame, but Infinity War is special. So I'm going to go, my friend, Jeff, with Infinity War. What do you think about my choice? Bobcat, Cruella was never one of my favorites, but after I watched this film, she way higher up on my list. I love Emma Stone. I think she's a wonderful actress. She reminds me of the 1940s, 50s Vivian Leigh type. She's great, but yeah, I don't have any kind of, oh, I must go and see this. Ronnie Dodge, Fast 9, Black Widow I'm interested in, Suicide Squad, Top Gun 2 I'm kind of interested in. It's exciting. Jeff Hill, I agree. Infinity War is better. Lol. I can't rewatch a 4-hour movie. Zack Snyder's Justice League is simply too bloated. I don't think it's too bloated at all. It's a team-up movie. 4 hours is a long time, but it's a really good film, and I really like it. I don't have an issue with the film. It's just I think Infinity War is a culmination of a piece of work, and I think that's beautiful, where Zack Snyder's Justice League is part of a rushed franchise. Ronnie Dodge, Justice League 2 could have been our Infinity War. Oh, absolutely. That would have been amazing. I mean, they're literally spending most of that movie in the nightmare future, which would have been very interesting. Bobcat, at Jeff Hill, Infinity War and Endgame are tied for me. It's not even because Harley dies. It's just not that good a movie to me. My opinion on what you just said, Bobcat, is it's easy for me to go Endgame, boom. Endgame did nothing to me. It was they ripped off Back to the Future too. There was very little originality about it. And killing Thanos so early and bringing it past Thanos really watered down the effect of the end fight for me personally. So I respect your opinion, but that's my view. Endgame for me. And you know, you talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League being 4 hours. There was no need for Endgame to be 3 hours. They made it a 3-hour movie on purpose, and it didn't need to be a 3-hour movie. At least Zack was doing something in those 4 hours. Do you know what I mean? Bobcat, it's too bloated to me. They didn't set it up properly. Where Marvel did do a great job setting that up. As much as I hate Disney, they get the credit they deserve. Listen, as I say, Infinity War is a culmination of nearly 20 films, right? And Infinity War is an amazing film. The way they set up Thanos and everything, it's great. I don't think you can call a film called Justice League over bloated because you're supposed to have those characters. So, I mean, maybe you could explain to me why you think it's over bloated. Bobcat, I felt every minute of Endgame was important to me personally. I respect that, Bobcat, but to me, it wasn't important to me. I felt they dragged out of the film. There was no need for it to be 3 hours. You don't kill Thanos off at the beginning of the film and then basically give us a past Thanos that doesn't really, it didn't work for me. Ronnie Dodge, Infinity War is better than Endgame, in my opinion, agreed. But I will admit, as a Marvel fan as well, I did cry at Tony's death, but Superman's death in BVS wrecked me. Yeah, it's amazing. Superman's death's amazing in the sense that we didn't have a build-up. It wasn't built up, but his death actually does work, which I think is amazing. MFC Productions, do you think there should be a man of colour as the next Doctor? Now we've had a woman of colour, Jo Martin. How can I put this delicately? I think we know the premise of Doctor Who is that the Doctor literally can regenerate into anything or anyone. Now, if I was running Doctor Who, and I've always had ambitions of being the Doctor and running the show, for me, I would audition people and I would pick the right person, not the person of colour, not a white person, but I would never cast someone because of the colour of their skin or for representation or inclusion. If a black actor comes in and I think, wow, that's the Doctor, you're getting cast. And by doing that, you end up being inclusive anyway. So that's my answer to that question, MFC Productions, and I hope that's good enough for you. You should no way be casting people because of their ethnicity. No way. So wrong. John, the best part of Endgame is the final battle. The final battle's good. I mean, I've only seen the film once, to be honest. I think it missed a lot of beats. And they removed a lot of Captain Marvel as well. So there's obviously another cut with more Captain Marvel. Jeff, I appreciate how you are one of the brainless fandom menace channels, BM. Thank you. Yeah, well, they're not interested in you, Jeff Hill, or anyone. They're just there to make money. I don't even think they're actually right-wingers. They're probably leftists pretending to be right-wing. They're just there to make money, and they admit it. Bobcat, I didn't cry at Superman's death. It didn't do anything for me personally, but I cried at Gamora's death, the snap in Infinity War, Iron Man's death and the funeral, and Cap dancing with Peggy. Yeah, actually, I must admit, Bobcat, none of that, apart from Superman's death, did anything for me at all. Tony Stark's death was, of course, sad. I like Tony Stark. I think Robert did a great job as that character. But yeah, the film Endgame, and I appreciate it did so much for you. It didn't for me, I'm afraid. Yeah, I mean, Superman's my character, obviously, like Harley's your character. So, like you're affected if she gets killed. I was affected. I thought, seeing there wasn't much build-up pre-BVS, I think they did a good job with the death, and it works. Where they missed with the death of Superman was the rebirth. Well, I feel you can't do a rebirth story in a Justice League movie. Ronnie Dodger, I was thinking in The Flash, if we get the scene of Barry electrocuting himself, could be very intense. But it's amazing in the animated movie. Bobcat, Iron Man's death and funeral and Cap dancing with Peggy makes me cry every time I see it. Wow. I still cry when Sam says goodbye to Molly in Ghost. Bobcat, oh yeah, I get it. Joel Davies. Hi, Mickey. Who would win in a fight between a bear and a gorilla? That's a random question. A gorilla. Jeff Field, do you agree that Doomsday was a bad idea to include in BVS? Well, here's the thing. You can't fight Lex Luthor unless he puts the power suit on. So actually, they could have just had Lex put the power suit on, which probably would have been a better idea. The only thing I would say, if you're going to do Doomsday, if you don't do Doomsday, look, basically, as an IP in a franchise, you don't do the death of Superman so early, and you don't bring Doomsday so early, right? Actually, I've just hit it on the head. Lex Luthor should have wore the power suit. That would have been the best thing. Because you got Lex, but this is what, you know, but I don't mind Doomsday being in the movie. I think he looks great. It's a great fight. It works for me. It's compelling. Bobcat, Gorilla, Ronnie Dodge. See, my favourite DC heroes are Wonder Woman and The Flash. Yeah, I think Superman's my one. I like the other DC characters, but Superman's the character I love. He's the first superhero I saw on a film, so that captivated me. Ronnie Dodge, Ghost makes me cry, and also Jack Frost at the end with Keaton. Ghost was an amazing film, an amazing film. These creatively bankrupt morons could never make a film as effective as Ghost. It's an amazing film. Not much VFX needed, not much big budget needed, but the film fucking works. Bobcat, Harley Quinn, favourite fictional character ever created of all time. Yeah, so Superman was the first superhero I saw in a movie. And that Superman the movie, directed by Dick Donner, I mean, amazing film for its time. Amazing. And, you know, I mean, how he achieved what he achieved with it, sensational. No VFX. We talk about Snyder, but Snyder has a big toy, VFX or CGI, computer generated images, right? Well, Donner didn't have that. And look what he executed, sensational. Jeff Hill, does Harley Quinn work without Joker, you think? Seems like they totally ignored their relationship after Air's Suicide Squad. I think it works better if she's with the Joker or if she's having a war. You can literally do a film where the Joker and Harley are a fucking war after they break up. That would have been better than Birds of Prey. But it's obvious to everyone that people prefer Harley and Joker being involved. Not necessarily as a couple, but even if they're fighting, but or they hate each other, but they're both involved in the film. So I think Joker and Harley together is much better. But because these are SJWs making SJW statements, they don't want the Joker involved with her. They want her to be a strong, independent woman. Bobcat, I do have to say, Cruella has a post-credit scene, and it gave me chills, or did it now? Ah, but does it beat the Skeletor post-credit scene in Masters of the Universe? I'll be back. Six viewers, six likes. That's fair enough. I can't argue with that. Five viewers now. Bobcat, there's a certain song in it from 101 Dalmatians. Oh, interesting. I wonder if I can pre-order it on Blu-ray. I might do that to see it. John, I cannot see anyone else playing Harley Quinn. Do you know what, John? I think that is a character that will be passed down. Look, Margot's amazing as Harley, but I feel, especially with the multiverse, and with Margot going over to Disney to do these Pirates of the Caribbean reboots, you know, there may be a kind of a necessity now, and maybe I don't know what her. I mean, her attitude is towards Warner Brothers since they've, you know, obviously she led the narrative for Birds of Prey. Is she upset with how it went? It's not Warner Brothers' fault. She was incapable of doing a good film. But she's a really good Harley, but I would accept another Harley. Bobcat, basically, they set it up for a sequel. They are making 101 Dalmatians again. A reboot. Oh, God, give me fucking strength. Oh, my God. Jeff Hill, how important do you think Abrams will be in the future of DC? Will he be a Feige-like figure? It's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, we've got Walter. We'll see what happens as time goes on. Is he going to keep his job? It's interesting what changes, if any, will they make to Warner Brothers Pictures? I think, listen, I haven't changed my mind about Abrams. He's at Warner Brothers to write and direct a Superman movie. That's what he wants, probably a Superman trilogy. He loves Superman. He was gutted that his Superman movie never happened. The overriding motivation is to make a Superman film. And obviously, he's making a lot of money being there as well. He's a businessman, but I think that's why he's there. So I don't think, I mean, he could become a fake figure. I don't think he's capable. I don't think he has the knowledge of DC to be able to be that kind of figure. Bobcat, I think her and WB are fine. Plus, her and James Gunn are working on a project right now. Let's see what happens there, because nothing official has come out about that one, but we will see. Hopefully that's true. And obviously we're not going to see that for a while because Gunn's going to do Guardians of the Galaxy. So I've frozen. Bobcat, DC fandom. You never know. You never know. And it's not bad enough. It freeze framed. It freeze framed while I was doing that, and it was the wrong side of me. Stop freeze framing. Oh, Bobcat, you aren't frozen for me. That's good. It's weird, you know. It seems like you guys don't see the shit I see sometimes. Ronnie Dodger, I'm very excited what they're going to announce at Fandom. Yes, that's what I think. Especially if you're a game fan, I think we're going to may get a big Superman announcement for games as well. I think they're really kind of opening up the platform to make more money from it. So I think that's exciting. And to be fair, you know, DC, everyone says that Warner Brothers don't know what they're doing, but they did come up with DC Fandom. Idiots wouldn't come out with that, would they? Jeff Hill, what are your fave games? Do you know what? I'm not really a gamer. I like the Injustice games. Now, if I go back to things you don't understand or remember, you're probably too young. I used to have a Commodore 64. There used to be a game called Delta. I really liked that. Commando, things like that. Bomb Jack, things like that. But I'm not the biggest of gamers, I will be honest. And obviously, I love FIFA. Ronnie Dodge, RPG Superman game would be bloody amazing. It certainly would. So lots of announcements and documentaries. They're planning to do DC documentaries as well. I love watching DC documentaries. I like Look Up in the Sky, the amazing story of Superman. The science of Superman. So I like documentaries on DC as well. And by the way, going back to Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers, you know why he admits that he voted for Obama? Because he's scared people are going to find out and say, well, how can you be going in for Trump? So he basically is a left winger pretending he's a right winger. Bobcat, I feel like a Superman RPG. How would that work? Wouldn't that be too overpowered? Well, it's a game. It would be fun, but I know what you mean. That's an interesting point. Jeff Hill, you watched Death of Superman Lives? Yes. The Death of Superman Lives. That was great, wasn't it? That was a great, and they put it in as one, haven't they? They put it in as one movie. And also, years before that, they did a Death of Superman animated movie, and that was awesome as well. Ronnie Dodger, I definitely think Gal will there as it's the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary. Yeah, I think everyone's going to be there. We may even have a Wonder Woman 3 announcement there as well. That's going to be interesting. I don't think the people in charge of DC and Warner Brothers are messing about with DC anymore. That's for sure. And Sarnoff is kicking the door open. I think, you know, she's a very big player there for Warner Brothers Pictures. She's there to turn these things around. I respect how her and the studio backed Walter Hamada as well. Let's see if I've wound anyone up on Twitter. They're just thick, right? They're saying that Christopher Reeve's Superman killed Zod. You are so thick. Listen to this. Listen to this crap. Ronnie Dodger, I bet the Flash and the Batman will be the biggest panels at Fandom. Oh, definitely. Jeff Hill, me too. I like Hamada and Sarnoff. I really hope they bring DC into a new golden age. So do I, Jeff. Listen to this. A human falling in an icy pit. Death, if you referring to the alternate scene that was over 20 years later. Meanwhile, they were dead. No, you didn't. Nope, you didn't see them dead. You have an agenda and you're forwarding a fake narrative. There you go. That's dealt with those idiots. Right, well, I'm sorry about that. Jeff Hill, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers saying he voted for Obama is like the old white guy saying that in Get Out. Ronnie Dodge, message retracted. Jeff Hill, total hypocritical virtue signalling. Ronnie Dodge, message retracted. Ronnie Dodge is just retracting his messages. They actually believe, right? They actually believe that Superman killed General Zod in Superman 2. They're fucking nuts. They are fucking nuts, honestly. All because people went against Superman killing Zod. They're trying to prove a point. Ronnie Dodger, I made a mistake, lol, but I bet it's okay for Cavill to slap his Zod's neck. That's why they're trying to prove a point. That's why they're trying to say Reeve killed Zod and Lois killed Ursa. They're actually trying to say that. Literally, Lois just goes like that and she killed Ursa. They literally just slide down. You didn't see them die, you idiots. They're not dead. My God. Get over it. Get over it. Superman shouldn't kill. Get the fuck over it. Right? I don't mind Superman killing Zod in Man of Steel. It didn't bother me. It was a very breathtaking scene. Don't get me wrong. But in reality, should Superman be breaking someone's neck? I don't think so. They're just obsessed with their agendas and it's fucking boring. Ronnie Dodge, I made it. Oh no. Ronnie Dodge, that's old news. Bloody hell. Are they desperate to bring old... Yes, they are. Yes, they are obsessed. That's all they do. They just repeat themselves all day. They just say the same shit, stirring up arguments all the time. That it's ridiculous. It's ridiculously dull. Jeff Hill, it made sense in MOS. Zod was going to enslave the world. Yeah, but in the story, you know, you can create other things. You know, they could have created a scenario where he was with the rest of the people who got sucked in to the Phantom Zone, then it wouldn't have been a problem. Then again, you wouldn't have had the end fight, which was awesome. But then, if they actually had kryptonite in Man of Steel, and by the way, by killing Zod, you don't see Zod again, which is disappointing as well. Jeff Hill, Terence Stamp or Michael Shannon? Oh, both. Oh, both. I can't choose between those two men. Oh, my God. Terence Stamp was awesome. Also awesome as the voice of Jor-El on Smallville. Michael Shannon was sensational. He's the best villain in DCEU history and maybe comic book history. I couldn't choose between them. Obviously, Michael Shannon's Zod is more kind of relatable and understandable. His motives are more understandable. Zod's just screaming kneel before Zod. But I still like Terence Stamp as Zod. He's great quality. Ronnie Dodge, I definitely think the Snyder fans are beginning to show their cult behaviour. Oh, yeah, they have been for a while. The problem is a lot of people are leaving the fandom. So it's just the people who they can't talk properly. They can't conduct themselves properly. So all the people, who could make up numbers to make them more powerful are saying, you know what? Fuck this shit. I can't be bothered. That's the attitude. Ronnie Dodge and also acting like bloody parrots, like repeating stuff, don't they? Don't they have a brain? Yeah, it's very boring, very boring. Jeff Hugh, I love Snyder, but he's not the greatest director ever. He's not. The dude has had misses in his career like Sucker Punch. Yeah, look, the guy is a unique kind of person. He makes films for his own reasons, and you know, he somehow is able to choose what he does, and good luck to him. But yeah, I mean, he's not one of. I mean, as a director of these days, we will remember him from this era because there's not many kind of overwhelming, talented directors out there. So I think we will remember him, maybe for the wrong reasons, really, because he's kind of this Marmite figure. Some people love him and some people hate him. But it gets boring after a while. They genuinely believe that Clark Superman killed Zod. They genuinely think they're dead. I've just said to them, "Where's the dead body? Where's the dead body? Where's it gone?" Literally, it's a typical 80s maneuver where they just punch the villain, they slide down, and they don't even care what's happened. They don't even want to explain it. That's what they used to do in the 80s. People used to punch each other and fall on the floor, and that was it. It wasn't that they were dead. We get the Suicide Squad a week earlier than the US. That's awesome, isn't it? It's very, very exciting. Jeff Hill, do you think Nolan will direct the Bond movie eventually? Yeah, I think definitely. I think that's definitely going to happen. Listen. I think that Nolan has got to do more than actually. Nolan's got to do more than just one. I think he should take over the franchise. I think he will do great at it because I think Bond needs something for sure. Jeff Hill, sorry, not DC related. No problem. This is an entertainment channel. We talk about all of entertainment. It doesn't have to be about DC. I'm very interested in many facets of entertainment, TV, other movies. I love DC, obviously. Jeff Hill, who do you want after Craig? Do you know what? I don't know what's going to happen with Bond. I don't know if this woman who's 007 in this film keeps the title and they do away with Bond. I want an unknown. If they're going to cast another Bond, I want to see an unknown for sure. Ronnie Dodge, when we get to send questions in for the panels for Cat Fandom, what films are you going to send questions for? Flash. Mostly Flash. Maybe the Batman as well. I'm interested in the Batman. But I think Flash is a good one to send questions for because then you can ask them questions that maybe they won't answer, but you'll have a clue in their reactions. And of course, The Flash is the movie that changes everything. So Flash is really the one I would focus on. And if I could ask, and obviously if Tanashi Coates and J.J. Abrams are there, I'd like to ask about this new Superman film, being a Superman fan as well. I'm going to ask them loads of questions about the Flash, what's happening, how they're changing the universe. Ronnie Dodge, yeah, definitely Flash movie is my main interest at this year's fandom. Yeah, I want to see what kind of questions they get by other people as well. It'll be interesting what they tell us. Maybe we would have, maybe not, but we're going to see a trailer at fandom, so that'll be interesting as well. I can't wait to see a trailer for that movie. That's going to be amazing. So everyone, we're reaching the end of our stream. It's been a really good discussion about a great deal of other things. I will be back tomorrow morning for the Big Mouth Daily Live. You can come in for that. You can comment while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, reading out headlines, reading out articles, or just talking about topics. You can still comment and we can still chat. So come in tomorrow morning from 9 a.m. UK time, where I'll be doing the DCEU Daily. Jeff Hill, False on Defoe, Melina, Fox, etc. showing up in Spider-Man 3. And also, how will the Spider-Man universe look? Well, yeah, I'll talk about this before I go. Well, basically, this is how I see it. I'm very excited if William Dafoe's in it. We know Melina's in it. Fox is meant to be in it. I'm excited for what they're doing with Spider-Man No Way Home. How will the Spider-Man universe look? It's very simple to me, really. Tom Holland will stay over at the MCU, and I expect Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to be Sony's Spider-Man in the Sony Marvel universe. I think that's what they're going to do. That's partly why they're doing this. So Holland doesn't really have much interest in being involved in the Sony side of the Marvel universe. He's obsessed with the MCU. He'll stay over there, and Toby and Andy will be these Spider-Men in the Sony Marvel universe, which I think is very exciting. Ronnie Dodge, when that Flash trailer drops, the internet will explode. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's very exciting to think about, isn't it? Oh, my God. Ronnie Dodge, I can't wait to see Dafoe back in Aquaman 2. Oh, yeah, William Dafoe. He's everywhere again, isn't he? That's amazing. What an actor. Any more before I go? Right, everyone, it's been fantastic. I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much. Ronnie George, I hope Nicole Kidman comes back. Oh, she'll definitely be in it. Yeah, definitely. Jeff Hill, thanks for the stream, Big Mouth. Thank you for taking part, Jeff Hill, and the support. Ronnie Dodge, see you later, mate. See you later, Ronnie. Thank you for the support. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for the Big Mouth Daily Live. And as I say every fucking time, let's hope we get some bloody news. Anyway, whatever you're doing tonight, or this morning, or this afternoon, wherever in the world you are, do it well. If you're doing something that's a bit dodgy, make sure you don't get caught. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Big Mouth Daily, 9 a.m. UK time. Until then, goodbye. It's been a great chat.